So have you ever felt like life just threw everything at you all at once? I mean, maybe you started a great new exercise routine and you started to see those biceps coming in and you were feeling good, or you started a new diet and you were getting more energy and looking better in your clothes, and then all of a sudden something happens. That could be any type of crisis or something, and you forget to take care of yourself and everything falls by the wayside and you're back at square one. Well, in today's video, I'm going to share with you some self-care habits that actually kept me sane during many months of a very trying situation. And I hope if this video finds you feeling overwhelmed or, just distressed in any way, that these self-care habits that I share with you will help you to stay calm and keep taking care of yourself even in our hardest moments. Hi, I'm Adele and welcome to Forever Young. You know, when we think about self-care, we think about elaborate rituals, but really it doesn't have to be that way. It can be very small increments that you do that can really be very good for you, because if you don't feel good about yourself, it's really hard to be there for others. So kind of my story starts just a while back, several months ago, right before Christmas. Well, you know, we had the fires in LA, and luckily nothing happened as far as fires in my home when many people were going through just terrible ordeals. But about just several weeks before that, a pipe broke in my house and it flooded 2/3 of my condo. I mean, it took everything out. I was pretty much shocked. The water was up to our ankles, and we had to tear down the closets, the bedrooms, the sinks, some of the walls, the hardwood floors in my husband's office, my complete bathroom, the toilet, the vanity, the sinks, the closets, the built-ins, everything, and we had to rush to bring everything into the living room. Well, we have about 7 steps up to the living room on another floor. That's where the little den, the kitchen, and the living room are. And the remediation company came, and we had to just grab everything, all the clothes, everything was thrown in boxes right away. They weren't labeled or done anything like I would have done, but we had to really rush because of the water. And then they started to remediate and dry out everything. I was being told, you're going to have to do this or that. So I was pretty much in a state of shock. I mean, I just couldn't believe this happened. It was much more, and every minute they told me something else had to come out or be redone. And they put blowers in the house, and they were going, 24 hours a day for weeks. They were so loud, drying out my skin. I didn't really know what to do. It was a mess. It was a mess. So needless to say, those fires happened not too long after. And of course, some of my friends lost their homes. Some of them lost their animals. So, I mean, who was I to even complain now about, my house when I had a roof over my head and I was safe. But nevertheless, still, it did affect me. And I wasn't really able to help other people as far as letting them come to stay with me, but I was pretty knee deep in animal rescue, because we're big animal lovers and things like that, and helping some of my friends the best that I could. So it was a really, really hard time. And as that started to tone down and people started, being able to go back and clean up, we were not a priority, obviously, because everybody was busy. So we had to stay like that. And then we come to find out our insurance says, we're not going to pay for you to go to a hotel, but yet they're all booked up anyway. We can't even find places for people to stay. So we made the decision, we're going to stay in the house. I have an animal here and, all my things. And that was the way that went for a while. So we eventually started the work on the house, and things were going wrong and I was getting upset. I mean, I had to go in the living room to get the towels, and I had no doors on anything. You couldn't hang anything up. And every time they were working on something else happened. It was a nightmare. I couldn't find my clothes. And then with the fires, we had to be on high alert because we were 8 miles from the fire. So we were kind of on high alert about whether we would have to evacuate or not. Luckily we didn't, but we had pretty much a couple of scares and a couple of false alarms. So I was trying to find my paperwork and things like that, and I couldn't find it. But I had a little suitcase kind of ready. So it was a very trying time, and I was starting to lose it, to be honest with you. And I couldn't keep my regular routine. So some of the things I did. Now, the first one, you're probably going to go, oh, this is crazy. But I was really getting, super nervous. And I couldn't go to the gym because people were going in and out of here, and I didn't want to leave anybody by themselves here. And all my equipment that I have in the house was piled up. You couldn't even get to it to do any type of exercise. So I was getting very tense. And I couldn't share a lot of my videos with you. I think I did one in between. And other than that, they started piling up the house so much that I wasn't able to do a video. And that depressed me too. So I had two choices. I could lose it, or I could start refocusing and try to take care of myself and do the small things that I sometimes tell you to do. So one of the things that I did is I started to do deep breathing. I know that sounds so simple, and I'm so impatient. I mean, usually I wouldn't even look at things like this, but I was really starting to get like my heart was beating, and it was crazy. So this is a very simple little technique that I started with, and it was kind of discovered by Andrew Well. I don't know if you know who he is, but he's a Harvard medical trained doctor. He was very much into integrative medicine, and he owns the Arizona Clinic for Integrative Medicine, and he did the 4-7-8 technique. And it's so simple, and it's used in ancient yogi practices, and it does act as a tranquilizer. There's all kinds of studies on this 4-7-8. So simple. You breathe in for 4, you hold for 7, and then you release for 8. Hold for 4, 7, 8. And I did that about 3 or 4 times in the morning, in the afternoon when I started to kind of lose it, and in the evening. It actually did calm me down. I was so surprised. So that's one thing you can do. And there's studies on this 4-7-8, and it's so easy. You could do it in the car, you could do it anywhere. And it really did help to calm me down when I felt like everything was falling apart. And around me, everything was, but it really did help. Another thing I did was I started journaling. Now, if you're like me, I'm very impatient. I have tried journaling so many times I can't even tell you, and it never worked for me. I never finish, ever. I start, New Year's Eve or New Year's Day, I'm going to do this, I'm going to write. I'd get bored. I write terrible anyway, very sloppy. I couldn't even read my writing. And I go, forget it. But I came across, this thing is so great. It's called the 5-minute journal. 5 minutes. And I love it because there's been studies on this, and it tells you all about it at the beginning. But basically, you just write. You write in the morning, you write 3 things you're grateful for, and 3 things what would make today great, and a daily affirmation. And it tells you all about how to do this and gives you examples. And then in the evening, you just write highlights of the day, 3 of those, and what you learned. And it's that reticular activity, like when you buy a new car and you're all excited about it, and then all of a sudden you see those cars all over the place, and you just notice them all of a sudden. Well, that's kind of like this brings that to you. I'm going to put the link down below on this. This thing has been amazing, and I started to find that things would start to change. Things that at first, I didn't even really believe in that, but they just started to change. All because of this 5-minute journal. Who doesn't have 5 minutes? So I really, really think this is a great thing, and it started to bring things into my life. I started to see what I was learning in this situation, and believe me, I learned a lot. I had an accident long ago that I wrote about in my, one of my videos, wrote about actually. I did a video on it, and it was surviving a dangerous fall. And I said in that video that life, that things happen for you and not to you. And I get goosebumps thinking about it because they do. I didn't think that had happened, but I really learned a lot over this stuff. So try this journal. Crazy, huh? They do. You learn a lot from your things, and you know, you don't really grow unless things are a little bit difficult sometimes, and you learn to appreciate that. So sorry for the little tears, but that's a first for me here, but I did that. The next thing I did was my bathroom was completely gone. I mean, the only thing left was the tub, the bathtub. So they took out, I'm going to show you some pictures of it, but they took out the vanity, the sinks, the drawers, the toilet, everything. I had a big tub left. So I would go into the tub with my Epsom salts, because you know Epsom salts really relaxes your body and it goes into your system. Excuse me, you guys. It goes into your system, and it helps blood flow, and it relaxes you, and it helps you to sleep, and it puts magnesium in your body, which we all need. There's over 2,000 studies on magnesium that all of us are deficient in. So I took that, and it relaxed my muscles, and it helped me. I would light a candle, and I would lie in the bathtub and relax, and it really did relax me. And so I felt so much better. And prior to that too, if you take a little bit of Epsom salts and you put it in some filtered water in a little teeny cup and make a paste out of it, and you can actually put it all over your body. I wouldn't put it on your face because it's a little bit too strong, but it will wake your skin up. It will get blood flow. If you have any aches and pains, it will actually just help you to really relax, and it makes your skin like glass. I mean, it would just, your skin, you won't believe how it feels. I mean, the water just slips off. It'll be just like silk. So that's another thing I did, and I've done that before, but you know, these things came to me when I was so stressed out. It was like, oh my God, I got to do something. And then I would get up and put my favorite Gold Bond lotions on that I talk about. I'll put the links down below if you want to check those out. But they're my very, very favorite, and they are cost effective. So I loved that. So I put those on, you know, and then I felt so much better. I can't even tell you what it did for me. I just pretended like everything was okay. And you know, like I said, I couldn't go to the gym. Finally, as things started to come together, it was raining one day, and they had just put some rugs in, and all the workers were walking on the rugs, and I was like, oh my God, you know, I was watching them like a hawk, and they came to put the sinks in, and they put them in upside backwards. I don't know what happened. They didn't fit. And I finally thought I was going to have a sink. It was things like that. But the piece of resistance, right? When it rained, our next door neighbor in another unit right across, we're in an 8-unit condominium building. Her side of the building flooded into her apartment, into her unit. Well, that was almost 6 figures, and all of us had to pitch in to pay for it because it's part of the building. And then our elevator broke. And we have a lady on the 4th floor that's 86, and she just had foot surgery. I mean, it just kept going on. So I had to keep finding things to keep me sane. Luckily, after they started working on the condo and things started getting fixed up, I could go on Saturday to the gym. So I started to get back to that. And I have to say that now I'm back in the house. I'm back in my bedroom. I have my built-in closets back. I put my closets back together, and I'm so grateful. I guess that's why I got a little bit teary-eyed, you know. But in the meantime, because I couldn't get to the gym like I usually do, I actually invented a exercise. It was a 5-minute exercise that I thought I could share it with you because it's for your arms, your butt, and your abs. And it takes care of all 3. You could do 5 minutes, right? So I do it on a ball, one of these balls that I got at Amazon. And I'm going to show you a few pictures of what I do. And I'm not a great photographer here because I had to try to rig this up myself, okay? And that's part of my problem. I'm learning every day more and more things about YouTube. And sometimes I have my daughter around to help me, but she's in Scotland. So I don't have her to help me. And so I pretty much try to take a picture of myself. So I have some exercises that I do. One is actually lying over the ball and doing push-ups. And then you get on the ball. Oh, and then after the push-ups ones, you just raise your legs from the back for your butt. So you're like, you know, they're back up there. There's a picture of it. And after that, then there's the sit-ups. You can do some sit-ups. It takes 5 minutes. I do 100 each. You may start, you know, small. So you can always do these kinds of exercises at home. So that was my my arms, my legs, and you know what? I really felt it. I could feel, you know, getting stronger because of these exercises, and then going back to the gym. So I'm back, you know, in a regular program. Again, I'm so flattered that people are watching my videos at all, because, you know, I'm still fairly new. I mean, yeah, now we're going on almost 11 months, so I don't know if I can call myself new anymore, but you know, with YouTube, you're learning constantly. So I'm so glad that, you know, people have looked at those videos, and I hope to keep making them quicker now that I'm back from this turmoil. So I hope this video has given you some kind of ideas of some little things that you could do to take care of yourself. Don't forget to take care of yourself, because if you can't do that, you really cannot be there for others. We have to put our health and our own self-care first. It's just like they say in the airports, you know, if you're in, or the oxygen mask, you got to put it on yourself first before you put it on your child, even, because you have to be able to know what's going on and take care of them. So I hope this video finds you well, and that it gave you some ideas. I just wanted to share my story with you. And if you liked it, give it a thumbs up and share with us some of the things that you did. I'm sure people would like to know what you do for self-care. So I hope to see you on my next video. Like and subscribe.